What's up, guys? It is Clay here again, and I will be reading some more Reddit stories for you guys. Um, just before we get into the stories, I'd like to show the Minecraft world a little bit. I'm walking around and whatnot, but I have made some progress here and there. As you can see, I've got a diamond pickaxe. I ended up getting Fortune 3 for that with the villager that I got the Fortune 2 book from. But basically, without going too far and getting into these stories, I did some more stuff, as you can see, but I did record it, except I just got a new monitor, and it wasn't actually recording my monitor. Like I said in the last video, I am new to this, but I am true to this, so I'm getting better at it. So yeah, if you notice some things that were not in the Minecraft world before, it's because I did it. Everything is done, the right way. I'm in a hardcore world. So yeah, let's get started with these Reddit stories. All right, so for the first one here, we have, am I the asshole for offering eggs to a vegan stranger? Vegan is in parentheses. Please tell me, period. So I, 25 female, own a few chickens. There are more pets than livestock, and I love them. They produce a lot more eggs than I can eat, so usually I'll give them to friends, family, and normally people are pretty happy about that. Last week, I spotted some interesting books on eBay. I texted the seller, she was nice, we agreed on a price, and scheduled a date when I could pick them up. So far, so good. That same day, I realized I had some leftover eggs and wouldn't see anyone I usually give them to for a couple more days. So I thought, hey, I got a great price for those books, she was nice, I'll just bring some as a small present. Boy, was I wrong. When I got there, everything went smoothly at first. In parentheses, middle-aged woman helped me load the books in my trunk. I gave her the money, and then I reached over at my passenger seat and grabbed the eggs. I only got to, I brought you a little something, before she went absolutely nuclear on me. She screamed about how her whole family being vegan, how dare I bring those atrocities onto her property. If her kids saw them, they would be a huge temptation for them, and so on. She even accused me of using animals for my own satisfaction and wealth, which is obviously not true and got me pretty upset. I immediately backed up, took the eggs, and got the hell out of there. She was still shouting at me when I backed out of the driveway. I kind of chuckled to myself about how crazy that was until I told a friend about it a couple days later. She said she kind of understood the woman's perspective that eggs count as triggering food in quotations, and I should be more careful offering them to people who might have a specific diet. I honestly didn't think anything of it at the time. I'm a vegetarian myself, and if someone offers me a sausage at a party, I simply politely decline. It's not like I tried to force those eggs on her. I just thought it might be a nice thank you to someone. By that logic, you can't give anything to anyone you don't know that well because it might be triggering to them. But I'm trying to be a good person, aware of other people's opinions and issues. So Reddit, please tell me, am I the asshole? Disclaimer, I'm not in the US. I've read about eggs being super expensive there right now. Where I live, they're not that valuable. All right, so, it really sounds like this lady's crazy. I'm from the south of the US, so eggs and eating meat is kind of in the norm. She says she's not in the US, so, maybe it's a little bit more common to be, like she said, she's vegetarian, but the woman that she went to go meet up with is vegan. That means no animal products for anybody who's unaware of what vegan means. But basically, yeah, I definitely don't think that this woman is an asshole for trying. Obviously, she was just trying to be nice. Obviously, she's not an asshole. But I do think it's wild that this lady literally just went bazonkers on her. Just like immediately at the sight of eggs, she saw red, like she was the freaking Winter Soldier. And you just said red car or some shit, So it's tough. Not really. It's not really tough. I guess if you wanted to try to never have this happen again, before you even offer eggs to somebody, you could just be like, hey, I was just curious if you had any, dietary restrictions. I've got some eggs and, I would like to offer them to you, as a gift. And, if they like eggs, then they'll eat them. I personally don't like eggs, but guess what? If somebody offered me eggs, I wouldn't go, oh my God, what the hell are you doing? You know what I mean? So it's like, leave that alone. It's kind of crazy how somebody can just act that absurdly at the sight of eggs. And personally, I believe that is probably a weak person who immediately she sees eggs and has to lash out on the stranger. She could have politely just said, "Oh no, no, thank you. Me and my whole family are actually vegans. I don't, if she didn't like looking at them, she could say, I don't even really like looking at them. If you could just please put them back in your car." She didn't have to go, like you said, nuclear on her. I mean, that's crazy. But yeah, that was a short one. We can go ahead and get into the next one. All right, here we go. Am I the asshole refusing to take a picture with my dad's girlfriend? Growing up with divorced parents, I, 14 male, mostly hang out with my mom, 40 female, and stepdad, 40 male. But I spend every other weekend with my dad, 48 male, and his girlfriend, Nacha, is I believe how you say it, 44 female. At first, things were chill with my dad, and even though I only met Nacha in 2023, we got along pretty well. But over time, I noticed she often sided with my dad, even when he wasn't being fair to my mom or me. Nacha had a habit of getting involved in my personal stuff, pushing me to share things I'd rather keep private. This created a lot of tension, especially when she dismissed my feelings or tried to defend my dad's harsh behavior. These experiences slowly messed up my relationship with both of them. For example, during Easter family gathering at a restaurant, we ate and had a good time. I had my dad sit in the middle so I don't sit by her. After the food, we were getting ready to take family photos. It was fun, but when Nacha went into the photo right next to me, I moved away because I didn't want to be by her. I would not want to be around someone who defended someone who was mean to my mother. Anyway, I walked away, which she definitely noticed and mentioned to my dad. This led to her texting him, trying to guilt trip, and he called me stubborn to her. My dad texted me manipulating me, telling me I made her cry, which is manipulation because she was not crying. He forced me to hug her, but I declined. I did not apologize, as she put this on herself. In the end, if Nacha had been more understanding and less defensive of my dad's action, she would have gotten different treatment. Am I the asshole? No, I don't think you're necessarily the asshole. I think that you have feelings towards your dad's girlfriend that you don't necessarily like. Like you said in the story, she kind of got pushy with some of your private stuff, and whatever that is, doesn't matter. If you felt like it was private, then it was private. You're 14, you're going through a difficult time in a young adult's age. So, there's certain things that you're not quite comfortable sharing with, or, you might not ever be comfortable sharing with. So, yeah, this sucks because, I was part of, my parents got divorced when I was super young as well. So I've kind of had similar situations where, you don't necessarily like certain parts of either your mom or your dad's family and their counterparts, and it sucks because you're stuck with them for the most part, and nothing you can say is really going to change that. It's not going to really stop them from coming around, especially not for you because it's your dad's girlfriend. So no, I don't think you're the asshole. I would just try your best to give her the benefit of the doubt and really, express with her how you feel about her, about how, you feel like she only ever takes your dad's side. And if she's trying to pry into your life about certain private things, then I would tell her that. I would say, Nacha, with all due respect, I don't feel comfortable sharing this with you. And if they are narcissists or manipulators, then they're going to do anything they can to try to get that information out of you. So they're going to pry and pull and pry and pull. And you just have to reiterate that you don't feel comfortable sharing those things. Of course, unless it's probably something that maybe your dad's trying to get you in trouble for, or like trying to make sure you're not doing anything you're not supposed to, or whatever. Whatever it is, just try to be the bigger person here. I know you're 14 and you're dealing with middle-aged parents and significant others, parents, or whatever, parents of significant others, however you say that. So yeah, I would just really try your best to keep your head down and try to be a little bit more considerate of your dad's girlfriend, but also explain to her what boundaries you have and what you don't feel you want to share with her. And if they keep prodding and pulling and prying, well then, kind of show them the action of their ways and be like, the fact that you're trying to pull these things out of me is one of the reasons why I don't feel comfortable sharing this with you. Why are you trying to pull this out of me? When I'm comfortable wanting to share something with you, I will share it with you, And if you feel so inclined that you do not feel comfortable with them, then try to move in with your mother full time if that's an option, especially if it gets worse, and they're keep trying and trying and trying, you're gonna have to, not want to be around those people. And also maybe just talk to your dad one-on-one. Maybe you could just tell him that you do not feel comfortable with this person. That I get that this is somebody that you enjoy and you like and you're wanting to be with. And I'm not telling you to break up with her or not see her anymore, but I'm telling you that this person does not make me feel comfortable. And I don't feel like they have their my best interest in mind. So I don't necessarily want to share certain things with them. And I would really, really hope that your dad would understand something like that. And if he doesn't, then man, I'm sorry. That sucks. I've been around plenty of narcissistic people that like to manipulate and, do those kind of things. So it's not fun, but, just do the best you can. And let's get into, okay, sorry, let me go ahead and answer it. You're not the asshole. I think I said that in the start. All right, here we go. We got another story coming up. Am I the asshole for insulting a sensitive friend because she always insults everyone else? I like the sound of this title. I have a friend. Let's call her Anna. Now, Anna loves to insult people, whether it's behind their back or to their face. She always finds it very entertaining, and I can understand that's a normal thing among friends. In our friend group, we always tease each other in good fun, but make sure not to go too far. Now, lately, I haven't been very pleased about the things she's been saying to me. I mentioned that I wasn't sure if I made the right decision when choosing my degree. This was during a time when I was overwhelmed with my studies. She said in a condescending manner, "Well, why didn't you choose it then?" Question mark. That was nothing, and I just brushed it off. The other day, she told me that I have no breasts. I wore heels today, and she kept on saying how uncomfortable I looked in them and that I looked like I was walking like a bird, whatever that means, in parentheses. My other friend shows up, and Anna tells her she's dressed like Florence Nightingale. Anna let her hair down today, which she rarely does. Now I made a joke and said that it's like when this other guy with a man bun let his hair down, since they both do it rarely. I didn't mean to say that her hair looks like his. Anna doesn't like him, and she took offense. My other friends immediately started attacking me and confronting her, asking how I could say that to her. I asked, how come she can say whatever she wants to me? She goes, because I'm sensitive, and they didn't respond. I mentioned that she told me that I have no breasts the other day, and she goes, but you don't. No shame at all. Am I the asshole in this scenario? My other friends seem to think so. Edit. I just remembered another instance. I was talking about feeling depressed to my friends and thinking about suicide. Anna goes, I don't know what to tell you, so there. And then she pats me on the shoulder. Another edit. My other friend told me that I have a model's figure, and Anna goes, except for the height. I don't take offense to my height comment, but why does she have to say something negative when I'm receiving a compliment? And that's the end of it. No, I definitely would not say you're the asshole. It sounds like you have shitty friends. At least from what you've been able to share, it sounds like they definitely take her side in certain kind of things. Okay, let me preface this by saying I take all of these Reddit posts to what they are, to what they tell me. So I don't try to speculate unless it's obvious that the person writing it is leaving parts out. It doesn't necessarily seem like this person's leaving parts out. It kind of just seems like you're having a tough time joking around with your friends, especially the one that you're calling Anna. Anna loves to insult people. And you know what you should tell Anna? You should tell Anna that if she can't take it, she shouldn't dish it out. It's like you can't sit there and joke around with people and, obviously it's not serious. And then when somebody jokes around about you, you start crying about it. Maybe you shouldn't have said that she looks like a man or whatever, but she also shouldn't have said to you that you have no breasts. That's like a ridiculous thing to say to somebody. That you could obviously be sensitive about that, and that's all you could have said when you were talking to her about how she's sensitive and you're not. You say, "Well, I still don't like the fact that you made fun of me, so let's stop." So I would definitely just say that you're not the asshole. And my advice to you would be to find friends that you can joke with. Me and my friends, we could probably say just about anything to each other, and it's not going to phase any of us unless you got into like some super personal stuff. However, we are males in, our mid to late 20s. So we can say some pretty crazy stuff. I could say something and my girlfriend would be like, oh my God, why did you just say that? And then I could ask my male friend, hey, do you remember that thing I said? And I said the other day, And he could be like, you said 1,000 things. You know, what in particular? What are you talking about? We wouldn't care. Just the same way as me, there's really just about nothing anybody could say to me that are my friends that I'm going to take offense to, because I know that they're my friends, and 99% of the time they're joking around. But, it is what it is. I would say try to find some different friends, or establish the fact that you like to joke around, and that if your other friend can't handle it, then what the heck? Like, you guys are just taking her side at this point. And that's what makes me feel like these friends don't care about you. They act like they care more about Anna, is because they immediately went to her side when all you guys were doing was just joking around. But yeah, that's my input on that. You are not the asshole. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so I have really been searching, because I feel like we have been going over these Am I the Assholes, and we have only really found people who are not assholes. I think in the previous video, I called one person an asshole, but overall, I was just like, you're not necessarily an asshole, but what you did was rude. So here's the title. Am I the asshole for not punishing my son for making fun of his sister for wetting her pants? My husband, 40 male, and I, 38 female, have two amazing kids, 10 male and 7 female. Our son's birthday was a couple of days ago, and the gift he was most excited to receive was a video game, Dying Light. Great game, by the way. He heard about it from a friend and was really excited to try it out. It's a video game about zombies, and he loves anything zombie related. Today, he was playing the game in our living room when his sister came downstairs, and unfortunately, she walked in during a pretty scary part. This part of the video game scared her so bad she peed her pants. When her brother saw that she had peed her pants, he started laughing at her and said, "Ha ha, you peed yourself, you're a big baby." I went and asked what the matter was and saw that my daughter had wet herself. I asked her what happened, and she said that there were scary monsters in the video game and her brother was playing, and they were so scary she started to cry. I then comforted her and took her down upstairs to calm her down. Later, my husband came home from running an errand and asked what our daughter was so upset about. I explained what happened to him, and he asked what punishment I gave our son. I told him I didn't punish him. This made my husband very upset. He asked why I thought it was okay for our son to bully his sister. I said I didn't think it was a big deal, but insisted otherwise. My husband has been very upset with me since and claims that I should have punished our son right then. And now since I didn't, he will look like the bad guy if he punishes him for making fun of his sister after I did nothing. Am I the asshole? Question mark. Edit. Okay, I apologize to my husband for letting our son's mean comments slide. I understand that it means to be addressed. My husband and I are about to have a talk with our son about what he did was wrong and why he needs to apologize to his sister. Yeah, so I definitely think that your son should be punished in some way or another, at least reprimanded to not say those kind of things to his sister. I get it. I had sisters, I had brothers, and obviously the boy was 10 and the girl was 7. And the boy is just playing a video game. He's literally sitting, doing his own thing. And his sister came in to see what he was doing, more than likely. And, I've had little sisters come in and while I'm playing video games and got scared and run out. Now, they didn't pee themselves, but obviously, this little girl, wet herself. She peed, bro. She's 7. Like, come on. And your boy doesn't know any better because he's a boy. He's 10 years old. He didn't do it because he has hate in his heart. He did it because his sister just wet his pants. Like, inherently, as a brother, I would have laughed too. But where he went wrong is he pointed and laughed and made fun of her. You can't sit there. He really, I would even tell my son that he shouldn't laugh at those kind of things. But I know that I would have laughed at it too, because if I saw my sister wet her pants, that's hilarious. But no, I think you should have, reprimanded your kid. I'm not a parent though, so I don't really know how far my opinion is taken. But I was a brother and I had many sisters, and I know that anytime I made my sisters cry or anything like that, I got, a swat upside the head. And that's just what I was taught. So I can't really say that you should have hit him or anything. I don't think that was the right course of action, obviously. But definitely I would have reprimanded him, maybe sat him in the corner for, a minute and been like, think about your actions. Don't be mean to your sister. Your sister, you two love each other. You're always going to love each other no matter what. So you were an asshole in this situation, but I don't think that what you did was inherently you did to be malicious. I think that you probably saw that your daughter had Peter pants, and you're like, oh crap, let me grab my daughter and let me get her out of the room. That way she's not seeing any more of these monsters, and, clean herself up. She just peed. So, gonna have to clean that up. So, yeah, overall, you were the asshole in this situation, but I don't think that you are inherently an asshole. I think that you were just trying to be nice to your daughter. But yeah, let's get into the next one. All right, here we go. We got another food-based one. Am I the asshole for bringing a meat-based product to my vegan friend's dinner? Oh boy. I, 22 female, was invited to a group dinner hosted by a friend, Hannah, 23 female, who's vegan. In the message, she said, it would be awesome if you could all bring plant-based dishes so everyone can try everything. I didn't think it was a rule. I saw it more like a suggestion. I'm from Chile, and my friends love our food, so I decided to bring empanadas de pino, non-vegan, and sopapillas con puré, which is vegan. I made sure to bring a visible tag that showed the vegan and non-vegan food. She didn't try any of the dishes that I brought. At the dinner, Hannah looked really upset and later texted me that I was really disrespected for bringing animal products into her home. I apologize, but I also didn't think that it was that big of a deal since I don't force her to it. And I brought a food that she could also eat. Also, mind you, we've already eaten non-vegan food there plenty of times, so I would have never guessed it'd be such a problem. Am I the asshole? Guys, it was not a small dinner with friends. There were 27 people there, and there were over 20 different dishes to choose from, with most of them being vegan. All right, so you're kind of in the wrong here because the text that you got the invite from a friend saying that they're all bringing, she said, in quotations, it would be awesome if you could all bring plant-based dishes so everyone could try everything. So I can kind of understand where, like, you didn't necessarily think it would be a rule that you have to only bring these dishes, but everyone bring at least one. Everyone bring at least one plant-based dish. But you got invited to a dinner where she specifically said bring a plant-based dish. So I would definitely say that you were in the wrong, but I can't necessarily blame you for bringing something that you said they like. And if she's upset with you, then, like you said, you just apologize and say, it's a misunderstanding. I wasn't trying to coherently disrespect you. Like, I wasn't trying my best to, like, be an asshole to you. But everyone is really shitting on you in this Reddit. They even had the little marker, asshole poo mode. I don't think you're asshole poo mode. I think that you made a mistake and that you didn't genuinely make it to be an asshole poo mode. But, it could have been done better on your part, but I don't blame you for it. You are wrong, but you're not an asshole. I don't like calling people assholes, if you guys can tell. Even the people who are being called asshole poo modes. I wouldn't call somebody that unless they were that. So, yeah. You're not an asshole, but you definitely kind of did an asshole thing when you brought a non-vegan dish to a vegan party. And I don't really even know why you went to a vegan party. That doesn't sound fun at all. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. I'm not going to a damn vegan party. Let's go to the next one. This one sounds quite interesting. Am I the asshole for being too friendly with a single dad? Okay, so here's the backstory. I made a male friend at the park when going on a walk with my daughter. She's 7 months, so I pushed her in the stroller, but we go every day. And I'll go on the playground with her so we can go up, down the slide together. There's this single dad I see there a lot, and he has a 5-year-old daughter too. He struck up a conversation with me a few times, and eventually we just started talking every time we run into each other. Usually, we just watch his daughter play while I let mine nap in the stroller for a bit, or we both play with her. He's really nice, and he's about 4 years younger than me, so it feels like he's a kid in comparison, which is weird because he has more parenting experience than me. He was a teen parent, in parentheses. He's an orphan and lost both parents, in parentheses. He has no extended family. When his daughter was a toddler, so it's just him and her. With the baby mama out of the picture, occasionally I've started bringing them food, in parentheses. We text casually just to see if they'll be at the park when I go. And I give it to him. No strings attached. I just feel bad and I wanted them to eat something nicer than normal. My husband found out about this and is saying it's kind of the same thing as cheating and wants me to drop this friend and says I shouldn't play mommy to another man's kid. All this despite me being in mommy and baby group where we make and trade dinner with each other every weekend. But this is different apparently. Am I the asshole for this? Oh, this is a doozy. Yeah, I would say that you're an asshole for doing that. It is a bit disrespectful. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's a bit disrespectful to your counterpart, your male counterpart. I can understand if what you were doing was like you're just trying to be, nice and talk to somebody at the park, pass the time, whatever. But you are kind of playing, mother to this other kid in a certain way, and you're also giving them dinner. I think the inappropriate part was you giving them dinner. I think that's probably what would set me off too, is that it's one thing to be at a park with your kid and to spark up a conversation with other parents and their kids and, just have somebody to talk to for the time being. I don't necessarily think that that's super crazy, but yeah, like I said, I think that it's you cooking and then giving them food is definitely where I would have a problem with that. I don't necessarily think I would force you to drop the friend, but this is what it seems like is going to make your husband feel better about it. So, and maybe, in all honesty, thinking, trying to put myself in these shoes, maybe that would make me feel better too. I don't like just the fact that you're not even talking to them anymore. But now every time you go to the park, you have to ignore that friend, or you have to be like, hey, my husband found out about us. And then it's going to be super awkward when you say that. But yeah, definitely don't do that again. That's kind of a shitty thing to do to your husband, in my opinion. And reading on this Reddit, it appears to be that everybody else feels the same way. So yeah, definitely don't do that. Let's go on to the next one. Am I the asshole for opting out of laundry and leaving my clothes in piles since he won't help unless it's his clothes? I, 27 female, am 4 months pregnant and just moved in with my boyfriend, Peter, 27 male. This baby was unexpected, but we're excited. Things have been better lately, though we had a big fight while moving in because I didn't unpack fast enough to keep the floor clean. He hates having stuff on the floor. We talked it out and we'll help each other around the house. One thing we agreed on was doing laundry together, sorting lights, darks, and colors. I've been handling some cleaning, cooking dinner, and doing the dishes. The other day, Peter started a load of laundry. I got home from work, I finished it, and put the clean clothes on the couch. I was exhausted, so I asked if he could start folding while I was finished cleaning, and I joined him after. He said no because he doesn't want to fold my clothes. I didn't get it and kept pressing him, which led to a fight. Turns out he just has a thing about folding other people's clothes, like he has a thing about clothes on the floor. I've been trying to stay on top of laundry for him, but I personally don't mind clothes on the floor, clean or dirty. Eventually, I was too tired to argue and just went to sleep. When I got home the next day, I expected the laundry to still be on the couch. Instead, he had folded his clothes and put them away and put my clothes into bins in our room. I thought that was mean, but he didn't really get why I was upset. We talked again, but we're at an impasse. He won't fold my clothes and insists I fold my own. But I told him if I have to fold everything myself, I won't be keeping up with his standard of cleanliness if he won't compromise or help. So now I've been told that I'm not doing team laundry. I'll keep my clean/dirty clothes in piles on the floor like I used to. He says that's unacceptable, and wants to be able to run laundry when he wants. But I'm done. I know it's immature to leave a mess on purpose, but I'm frustrated. We are supposed to be a team. I even asked if this was a cultural thing. We are from different countries, but he said no. It's just his personal quirk. He says it's okay because he'll fold the baby's clothes. But I'm doing the cooking, cleaning, and shopping, and I'm exhausted, and I can't help but wonder if I'm too pregnant to even bend over soon. Are my clothes just going to end up in bins in my room every time? Man, that was the end of the story. Sorry, I cut out the end, but that was basically it. And from what I read, man, it sounds like you are living with a child. It sounds like you're living with somebody. He's calling these things quirks in quotations. And I really just think that they're an excuse to be lazy and not do that work. You don't want to fold your wife's clothes. Me and my girlfriend do laundry together and we both fold each other's clothes. They're clean. Maybe I would understand it if you didn't like to touch dirty clothes as like an OCD kind of thing. But they're clean clothes. They just came out of the washer and the dryer, bro. Like, what are you talking about? He's literally just trying to get out of doing laundry, but yet he still wants you to do his. And this might sound like an unpopular thing to say as a man, but I do my own laundry and like I help my girlfriend with her laundry too, and I do the dishes and my girlfriend helps with the dishes. Like you are both sharing a space, so it can be clean, or it can be how you guys like to keep your apartment. It sounds like he likes things super clean, but doesn't like to clean things. That doesn't really add up, does it? So I definitely think that says here boyfriend. Your boyfriend is an asshole, and the fact that you are gonna have a kid with him makes me feel very sorry for you. Yeah, I would really try to get that sorted out before you guys end up having kids together, because that's another thing that is interesting to me is that what's gonna happen when you guys have kids. And, he doesn't want to clean up after these kids, but he damn sure wants that house clean. Well, I hate to break this to you, but, you're going to have to help with some of that. Maybe it is just a quirk or whatever that he doesn't want to fold somebody's laundry. Maybe he's got trauma with that or something. I don't know. But he's your, I would guess, soon-to-be husband. I mean, you guys are 4 months pregnant. I would imagine that he might be proposing sometime soon. So he should feel comfortable with maybe sharing that trauma with you, if he's comfortable, if it is a trauma. But yeah, I think that that's ridiculous that he doesn't want to help you fold laundry, even though you literally just did his laundry. If I fold my girlfriend's laundry, then she'd be more inclined to help me fold my laundry. It's not a big deal. And the fact that he's making a big deal out of it makes me think that that's a giant red flag, and that he is an asshole through and through. So no, the person who made it, I don't think you're an asshole. I think you're living with an asshole. But, I would really just try to make him understand where you're coming from, but it really sounds like you're talking to a brick wall that won't shut up. You know what I mean? So yeah, not the asshole. Break up with your boyfriend. Let's get into the next one. All right. Am I the asshole for leaving my car parked at a gas pump? Yesterday, on my way home, I decided to stop and get gas. This gas station is smaller and only has 10 to 12 gas pumps. That is not a small gas station, but it wasn't busy at the time. I was there about 50% were in use. And I just opened my gas tank when a head-on collision occurred in the intersection. It was so loud. It sounded like an explosion. One vehicle tire flew off and the other spun out multiple times. I immediately dialed 911 and neither driver attempted to exit their vehicle. I had to wait on hold with 911, and since I'm a nurse, no one else had gone over to the vehicles. I went over to help. I went over to the first vehicle and the driver was disoriented from the airbag but was okay. So I went over to the second vehicle. I wasn't able to get the driver's door open on my own, but luckily some construction workers came over and were able to help me to get the door open. The second driver was also okay, and I was finally able to reach a 911 operator. She instructed me to remain with the drivers until fire and EMS arrived. It took about 10 minutes for them to arrive at the scene. Once emergency services arrived, I let the paramedics know about each of the drivers, and they gave me the okay to leave. I walked back over to my car so I could pump my gas. As soon as I arrived back to my car, the gas station attendant came over and began screaming at me for parking my car at the pump. I tried to explain I was helping with the accident, and he continued screaming at me, should have moved my car out of the way before going to help them. I pumped my gas and then left. Other people at the gas station were telling me it was fine and just to ignore him. But now I'm questioning myself, am I the asshole for leaving my car parked at the gas pump? Hell no, you're not the... What do you mean am I the asshole? You just went and tried to save people's lives. Of course not. I mean, I can't believe that the guy who works at the gas station, the attendant or whatever they call it, really tried to sit there and call you an asshole for going and helping people's lives. And he tried to say that, well, maybe you should have moved your car first. Yeah, this is how you know that that person is probably insane. There's really no point to even like argue with them. I'm sure you feel like an asshole because you got yelled at for it, but I can promise you that you're not an asshole for doing what you did. You did the right thing, and I commend you for doing the right thing. Good job. But yeah, you're obviously not the asshole. What you did was great, and I commend you, and I say very good job. The person who came over there and yelled at you was a complete asshole. Now, let's talk about not in that situation. Let's talk about somebody who parked there, and then, so what I often see living in Florida, I see all the time people parking at the gas pumps, sometimes even taking up more than one gas pump. They park right dead in the middle of the gas station and where the pumps are. And then they don't pump their gas, but instead they go inside the gas station to get whatever they need. You know, probably some really stupid shit. But people who do that sort of thing are 100% considered assholes. Somebody who parks their car in the gas pump, doesn't pump gas, and probably doesn't even need gas. I would understand it if you parked in the gas pump and then you had cash, so then you went in and you paid cash for gas. But number one, who the hell does that? Who does that? 99% of the time, nobody. But I've even seen people parking their car at the gas station, putting the nozzle in and starting the gas pump, and then going inside and getting what they need. That's a little bit better, but it's also a little bit worse because it's a little bit more unsafe. You're letting this gas pump go, you know, unattended. And I've seen plenty of times in filling not in my own vehicle, but I was filling up another person's vehicle, and they didn't, like, the sensor in the gas pump didn't work, so it didn't stop going when it was full. So I overflowed their tank, and then I got gas all over my leg and jeans. And I was super pissed and smelled like gas for like the next 45 minutes until I could change. Don't do that. Do not leave the pump going while unattended, because sometimes they're broken and they will spill gas everywhere, and that's not safe. Obviously, you don't want gas on the floor everywhere, where cars are driving and whatnot. So back to the original story. Obviously, no, you're not an asshole. You did the right thing. You saved, you know, people. Very good job. What I was just talking about, if you do that, you're an asshole. Stop doing that, and just stop going to gas stations. Get an electric vehicle, because you don't belong at gas stations. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. And actually, that is going to wrap up the stories I'm going to do today. I'm running out of time, and I'm gonna go to work. So I'm going to work. Wish me luck, guys. If you made it this far, I appreciate you watching my videos, even though I just started posting. I'm gonna try my best to, you know, keep up with the posts. I'm gonna keep trying to make videos like these because I enjoy making videos like these. So yeah, I'm gonna keep doing my best. Keep trying to make these videos. I enjoy making them, and yeah, if you made it this far, like I said, sorry, I keep repeating myself. If you made it this far, thank you. Like and subscribe if you so please. I appreciate you guys, and yeah, see ya.